stupid.
Cheryl.
That's my name. Don't wear it up.
What is the location of your emergency?
4748 France Court, apartment 3.
4748. What's the street name?
France, Frantz.
And the apartment number?
3.
Is this a police or medical?
My boyfriend is dead.
Like, yeah, I'm so sorry.
Put the puzzle together. We've been doing some artwork together.
You are putting a puzzle together?
Yes, we have a puzzle that we started in there.
Okay.
We've been doing art, trying to take stuff off the wall to make new art put up there, like having a good time with one another. But we're drinking. We had a bottle of wine last night.
Okay.
So then it's like we decided to play hide and seek, right?
Okay.
So he gets in the suitcase. Okay.
Who is this guy?
That's my ex-husband, my former husband.
How did he live here with you guys?
No, I called him over here.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
I didn't know what to do.
Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone stood before a judge today, accused of committing one of the most bizarre murders in recent Central Florida history, accused of zipping her boyfriend into a suitcase, then leaving him to suffocate to death.
Date is February 26, 2020. The time now is approximately 11:45 hours. This is in reference to Orange County case number 20-017904. I'm currently located at 4704 Lucier Court in Winter Park, Florida, 32792. At the Tealwood Park Apartments complex in the front office. Also with me is, can you state your name, sir?
Abraham Moretta.
Okay, and your date of birth? So with me is my partner, Detective Scott Lullen with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Okay, Abram, prior to us going on recording, I was informed by Melissa, who's the property manager, that you knew Jorge Torres.
Correct.
And you were explaining that you knew him from Philadelphia when he was smaller.
Yes.
And then now you, I guess, reconnected.
When I started working here in October.
In October of last year?
Of last year.
Of 19. Okay. So you said that you last saw him, you said it was last Tuesday?
Last Thursday.
Last Thursday. Okay, thank you. So last Thursday was the 20th?
Correct.
Sound about right? Okay. Now, what can you tell me about Jorge and Sarah's relationship?
They had an on and off rocky relationship, which was physical on occasions. I'm aware of the fact that Jorge had a probation officer. He was in anger management. And again, they had their good times, their bad times. Sometimes he would instigate the situations. Majority of the times, Sarah Boone instigated the situations. And she ended up with bruises. But that's more of him, like, kind of pushing her off of himself.
Okay. And that's what he told you?
Yes.
Okay.
And she verified it as well.
Sarah verified with you?
Yes.
Okay. Did they both drink a lot?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
In excess.
What?
In excess. They didn't drink to drink. They drank to sunrise to sunset, all the time in between.
Okay. Did you ever see them physically fight?
No.
Okay. Have you ever seen them physically argue?
I've seen them argue.
Argue. Okay.
But no physical contact.
Right. Has Jorge confided in you about Sarah? About anything she's, I know you said that they both, sometimes
He notified me, he had told me on a couple of occasions where she called the police on him and had him put out.
Okay.
A couple of times he ended up getting arrested over it. And that she was the reason why he was taking the anger management courses and stuff. Because a couple of weeks ago, he was still working at the hardware store on the corner until they closed.
Right.
And that's where me and him would have more of our conversations than anything else. I'm going there to get stuff. Now it's just me and him, one-on-one.
Right.
She's not there to create this situation.
Okay. And so, just correct me if I'm wrong, you said that sometimes he would instigate it and sometimes she would instigate it?
Yes.
Okay, and he admitted to that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know when, did he confide in you about like their last physical argument or
No.
fight?
The last physical fight that they had, she mentioned it to me, Melissa, and Mr. G when she got arrested. When we were all standing outside, and she said, I want to speak to you, and G walked over to an officer and said, is it okay if she speaks to us? They said we would prefer not, but that is her choice.
Right.
We did not ask her any questions. She had told us that a couple of days ago they had got into a fight where he grabbed her by her hair and dragged her down the steps.
Okay.
And that would probably be a day or two before this situation happened.
Before the situation?
With the suitcase.
Okay, so when did you talk? When was that?
She was talking to us outside Monday afternoon.
Oh, Monday. Okay. I
Monday.
thought you said the last time she got arrested, and I'm like...
No, when she got arrested, well, when everybody was at her door.
When we were investigating.
When you were doing during your investigation, because you was typing in the car.
Okay.
She was talking to us outside. There was a young officer at the door who heard the conversation.
Okay.
Because he was only but 20 feet away.
Okay. So she told you what again? One more time.
That they had gotten into a fight. He grabbed her by the hair and dragged her down the steps.
2 days prior?
Probably about 2 days prior to that situation.
So that would be Saturday.
Yeah, over the weekend, yes.
Over the weekend.
Whatever took place over the weekend, Saturday or Sunday.
Okay.
Then she told us that they were playing hide and seek. He went in the suitcase. She zipped it up. And then she went upstairs and passed out.
Did he ever confide in you, like, what he did? Like, for fun? Besides, like, the drinking, like, is there other activities that he did? Did he ever tell you, like, oh, I'm trying to get into this?
They actually used to do a whole lot of arts and crafts inside of the townhome. And they did a lot of it with her son. Kind of, there was a perfect relationship, but they tried, I guess, in their own way.
Right. Okay. Is there anything else that he would tell you about him and Sarah's relationship that you think is important for us to know?
I think you actually know it all. They just had a very rocky physical relationship. On and off.
Okay. Did you ever see marks or bruises on him?
Yes.
Okay. Like what?
Scratches on the neck.
Scratches.
As I said, with her attacking him, he's kind of just
Trying to stop.
shove her back, but because she's such light skin, as soon as he touched her, instant bruises all across the arms and things of that nature.
Right. Okay. So I don't know if you've noticed or if it's been before, but the door, there's like a bunch of markings on the door. Have you ever noticed that or no?
On which door?
Their door.
Their front door, the very front metal door.
I haven't looked at it,
Okay.
but I know if I was to look at it, I could probably tell you what it was.
Okay. We're just curious if, like, since you had been working here, if you noticed it or saw it
No,
compared
because
to.
they had keys. Now, they probably slamming doors back and forth and had an argument. I know of one where her ex-husband showed up, but that would probably be around November.
Okay. Anything?
Have you, has he ever talked to you about any damage inside the apartment that he needed help fixing that you couldn't do?
No.
Have you ever really been inside their apartment?
Yes, I have. I do them basic work orders. like change the verticals,
Yeah.
patch up.
Have you seen any damage that looks like it was caused by either one of them?
Not that I can say, it just looks like normal wear and tear of a unit.
Well, I noticed on the first floor there's a half bath there.
Yes.
There's like two or three patches on that door. Do you know anything about those patches?
No, not the door. I did the patchwork in the ceiling, and that was due to a leaking air conditioner.
Yeah.
The door would have to have been super recent.
I did hear about that.
Yeah. All right.
And you said has Sarah confided in you where Jorge is not there? Or is it
The
like,
most she ever did was, we're fighting, we're arguing, he's always arguing with his ex-wife over the phone. I just tried not to get in the middle of that.
Did you know his ex-wife, or was that prior?
Oh, that's well after.
That's
Because I lived down the street from George,
for how long?
93 to 2005.
So he would have started at, you said 14,
Yeah, around
so he would have been into his mid-20s.
yeah, but it was me and my wife. And
Yeah.
trust me, she works for DHS.
Okay.
She's a child services kid.
Right.
My son is a Philadelphia police officer. Different circles altogether.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask. How well did you know him up there?
Oh, not like I said, to me, he was just a teenager running around with the other kids. And I was
See him at the corner store and stuff like
yeah,
that?
stuff like that. Well, literally on the block, because I lived here. My brother-in-law across the street was my ex-wife's aunt, and then George.
Okay.
So it was, and then her mother lived across the street. So restaurants. So no matter where you go, everybody sees each other on the corners and stuff.
Now down here, was it just coincidence you got the job here, was walking through and ran into him and went,
Yep.
holy cow. Okay.
That's literally what happened. I was like, whoa, real small world.
Do you ever go out and hang out with them, have
Nope.
dinner, go drinking? The only time we've ever seen them is when you're at work, either here on this property or
When I would go to the hardware store. That's it.
Okay. Did you ever stay after and hang out in the apartment with them?
Nope. I don't hang out with residents.
Good.
can you raise your right hand? Do you promise and swear everything we've talked
I
about has
confirm.
been true and accurate to
I
the
will
best
confirm, I do not swear.
You confirm that everything we've talked about has been true and accurate to the
Yes.
best of your knowledge? Okay. Today's date is February 26, 2020. The time now is approximately 13:22 hours. This is in reference to Orange County case number 20-017904. I'm currently located in my unmarked agency vehicle outside of yard in Orlando, Florida. In the car with me is my partner,
Scott Lower.
and in the front seat is, sir, can you state your name for me?
Juan Torres.
And your birthday?
81.
Okay. And you are the brother to George Torres Jr., correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It came to my, your parents had explained to me that you had a conversation with George a few days ago. Do you recall that specific date?
Yes. It was Sunday.
On Sunday. So Sunday, we're looking at the calendar together, the 23rd?
The 23rd.
Okay, so February 23rd, you guys had a conversation. Do you recall what time that conversation took place?
7:30. Oh, it finished at 7:30.
Do you remember what time it started? Do you by any chance still have it in your call log?
Does it do it when... So it had to be 7:30. Because when you call, it clocks it. It doesn't do it at the end, it starts it.
It starts it, and
So
then it
7
tells you how long you talked for.
So it was 7:30 then.
Okay. If you do have it in your call log, I'd love to take a picture of it if you still have it.
That's Monday. Sunday right here.
So it'd be Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
If you click, I'm just gonna...
yeah.
There we go. Do you mind if I
Yes,
take a photo?
No, it's fine.
Okay. And so it says you received an incoming call at 7:30, and you guys spoke for 4 minutes.
Yes. We was talking, I was playing dominoes with my kids and my wife. And at first I wasn't gonna pick it up. Then I picked up.
Okay.
Because they were always fighting and stuff with alcohol. So he started talking to me, he was calm, so I was like, oh, okay. So I put it on speaker. So my kids are there, like, they joke around with him, and he was joking around with them. And we're talking, and then he's talking to me about when we was kids. And then, like, a couple minutes after that, that's when I hear in the back start arguing with him. No, I have to call my brother. I have to talk to him. And he's like, no, I'm talking to my brother. It was her phone, so. And then she starts arguing and telling him that, no, tell him what you've been doing to me. You choked me, this and that. But he was calm. And he was like, okay, I gotta let you go. And then he said, I love you. And I told him I love you. And basically that was it.
So she yells in the background, tell him what you've been doing to me.
Yeah.
You've been choking me.
Yeah.
Did you ask him anything about that?
No, because the thing with them, they would fight and they would hit each other. Because there was times he came here and she had hit him with a phone and he had a black eye. So it was like...
Did you witness that?
I didn't get to see it, but
Okay.
he told me himself.
Okay.
So
you guys know that there's domestic between the two?
Between them. And I told him, get out of there, get out of there. I would tell him, leave. And what's crazy is that he would leave, come here, and she would call and tell him to come back, and she would come and get him. Mm-hmm. So she had the car, he didn't have a car.
Right.
So.
You said that he sounded calm?
He was calm, relaxed. Like he would, I can tell because my brother's been drinking for a long time. Mm-hmm. We tried to get him help before.
Right.
And I can tell when he was like really drunk, and he wasn't that drunk that night.
He wasn't.
So when you're describing him as calm, that's an indication that he hadn't been drinking that much.
That he wasn't that drunk. No.
Okay. So when he's been drinking, does he get really excited?
Sometimes he gets excited, and you can tell he like slurs his words, and he like, and I can tell like he gets really emotional, and sometimes starts crying and.
Okay. And none of that happened that
No,
night?
none of that.
Have you ever witnessed them physically fight?
I've seen them because I've been to their house and she's come out all crazy. I went over with my wife and they had called me to go over there. She had called me to go over there.
Sarah?
Sarah had.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'll come over. That he wanted to see me. So I went over. And as soon as I get there, she comes out crazy because she saw some guy peeing around the corner. And she was trying to fight the guy and argue with the guy. And my brother was like, yo, calm down, B. Just calm down. And it was like, I went to that. That's why I would try to avoid everything. Like, I would call, whenever he called me, I talked to him. I tried to talk to him. Mm-hmm. But it was always, like, they were always.
Did she physically touch George, or was she just getting really upset? And
upset, like she came out upset. But there's a person, I can't remember, somebody seen him because he was on a bike one day. And he told me, I can't remember the person it was because he was on a bicycle and she hit him with the car. And I can't remember who the person was. And he told me.
Okay. Have you ever seen any marks on George?
Yeah, around his neck, eye.
Like what kind of marks?
Like the time she hit him with the phone.
Okay.
He had a black eye, scratches all over his neck.
Would you see Sarah every time you saw George?
off and on. Like, if I would go over there, I would see her with him. And then sometimes if he ever came here, I would see him. Or sometimes when I would go over there, he would just come out and I wouldn't see him.
So you more saw your brother than Sarah?
I think it was equal.
Equal?
Because I've seen her. Sometimes she had marks and stuff. So
and what do you mean by marks?
Like bruises and stuff too. They used to beat each other.
And where were her bruises be?
I've seen on her arm, black eyes too.
Okay. Did George ever confide in you about their domestic problems? Like, did he ever tell you? Is there anything else that he's ever told you about him and Sarah? Any arguments? Any physical altercations?
No, he didn't really like to talk about it like that. Like, everybody knew it.
Right.
Like, they used to come here and fight and stuff.
Okay.
And my mom wouldn't like it and tell them to go.
Right.
And I know one day she came, it's been like maybe like 2 months. My dad, because she always tried to hug everybody. And everybody didn't want to be hugging like that. And she pushed my dad, and my dad fell.
Yeah.
So,
would they always, would Sarah always be intoxicated when you saw her?
most of the time.
And what about George?
There was times he was not, he had drank, but he wasn't like drunk. Like he would try to like eat and try to have her eat because they was always drinking so much. So he was like, we need to eat something. But
did you, like a couple of years ago, did you and your brother have any kind of a falling out? Did you guys get into an argument, a fist fight or anything?
No. See,
has he gotten into a physical altercation with any of your brothers?
With Farrell, he did. The one that had the long hair.
The curly hair?
Yeah. With him, but it was just...
How severe of a fight was this, though?
Nah, brothers.
Did he
Anybody go to the hospital?
No, nothing like that.
Anybody have, like, bloodied lips, broken noses, anything like that?
Broken eye?
No. Oh, he had with my other brother, too, with Mo. George had went to the hospiel.
George went to the hospital.
Yeah, George.
And it was a few years ago, 2 years ago, maybe 2.5.
That happened because she said they was drunk. They was at my Mo's house, at Moses' house. That's the other one.
Moses?
His name is Moses.
Is it last name Torres?
Torres.
Okay.
They had got into it because Sarah had came and said that George had beat her, and then they got into it, but I wasn't there that day. Moses he can tell you about that.
But George did go to the hospital?
George went. George was in the hospital for that.
Do you remember what injuries he sustained?
Something in his eye sockets.
The nose, maybe?
I think his nose too. But something was wrong with his, like...
Orbital?
Yeah, the orbital.
Yeah.
What?
All right. Is there anything else that you think is important for us to know about your brother or Sarah and their relationship? I'm assuming the 4-minute conversation, he was just kind of like, you guys were just talking at first.
At first, just talking. I would notice that he was okay. It wasn't a fight.
You said he was joking with your kids, and then you hear Sarah in the background,
and then that's when Sarah came.
And then you let him go, or he let you go.
He said, because he was like, my niece and nephew are there. They can hear you, like. So I was like, he was like, all right, bye, and then.
Okay.
That was it.
How did she sound?
She sounded like crazy, like she always did. Like, she was always like that, crazy. Like, she would just start yelling.
Was she yelling any kind of threats or anything?
No. She was just saying about calling her brother.
Okay, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you promise and swear everything we've talked about has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. This ends the recording 13:35 hours.
Let's take it to Florida, where in just a few weeks, the so-called suitcase murder trial gets underway. If you don't know what we're talking about, Sarah Boone is facing second-degree murder charges. Investigators say she stuffed her boyfriend, Jorge Torres Jr., into a suitcase during a game of hide-and-seek back in 2020. She even recorded his pleas for help on video as he died inside. So as a criminal defense attorney there in Florida, what is your reaction when you see that video of Sarah Boone basically ignoring her boyfriend's pleas for help?
That's horrific, of course. And the defense attorney has a tough road in front of him or her. But there are some defenses to this, and the reality of it is that they may be seeking a lesser charge. She's been charged with second-degree murder. And there is really a chance that they could be going for a manslaughter charge, which would have far lesser penalties.
Well, she's claiming that he abused her, and we do have records that show that they have both been charged with battery on each other in the past. But is the battered partner defense here, is that a possibility?
It is a possibility. It's a tough road for them to go through, though. Florida does recognize battered woman syndrome, or battered spouse syndrome, I should say. It's typically the woman who's who's the victim in these matters. And but you have to really show that it's perpetual, that it's ongoing, that it's escalating. And so, as I understand it, there's been a back and forth. Each have filed restraining orders against the other. So it's going to be a tough road to go, and they're going to need experts to come in to show her psychological position and that she really felt like killing was her only way out. And not just for revenge, but it was really her only path to safety. And that's questionable in this case from the limited amount that we see right now.